Hey, good morning, y'all. Oh, yeah, my hair's a mess, and I really don't care. I just got out of bed. But anyways, I had this thing going through my mind this morning about 1996. That was a good year. That's Groot. And if you heard it, that's Max growling at him. Anyway, 1996 was a great year. I decided then I was 36 years old. I decided that I was going to go into business for myself. I was an admin secretary for a long time. I'd been doing secretarial work since I was 15, which would have been 75. And I thought, I am so sick of working for jerks. And I was. And I owe my going into creating my own secretarial business to one professor. Every secretary, oh gosh, every secretary before me, including the one I replaced, all quit because of him. And the girl who was training me, whose place I was taking, she goes, "Oh, please, please don't take this job. I really like you. I don't want you to go through it." And I was like, I've had a lot of jerks for, bosses. And she goes, "Oh no, you've never experienced anything like him." And it was true. I had never experienced anything like him. He was the professor from hell. Narcissist? Pick a name. Anything you want to give him. That was him. And he would come down 5 minutes every single time. 5 minutes with a test and say, "I need this printed out for 60 students." 5-page test on a printer in 1996. That printed as slow as molasses. They were not fast printers back then. Yes. So it was like, really? I was like, "It can't be done." He goes, "Do it." And then he went upstairs to his office. Comes down. A few minutes later, goes, "They done?" Are you kidding me? I'm at the printer, and I was trying to get these dumb things printed off, or photocopier, and trying to get these things printed out, and he just, he was on my case. So he'd keep coming in, coming in, coming in. "Excuse me, class has already started. Why don't you have them done yet?" "Because you're an a-hole." Just like, ah. So anyway, he was the motivation for the whole thing, because I'd had enough of it. So I sat down and I started piecing together. I thought, a lot of people have got to have the need of a secretary. They just can't afford to pay for one. And in a lot of cases, just frankly don't need one, but they need the skills that a secretary may have on occasion. So back in those days, things were so much better. Computers were better. The programs on them were better. You could go there was a place that was just around the corner from me. I lived next to Eastland Fashion Mall in Columbus, Ohio at the time. And there was this building that was basically the size of a Best Buy building, filled with thousands of CDs with computer programs on them. And of course, you don't have that now, but boy, we had that back then, and it was amazing. And so I went into the business section, and they had this phenomenal CD. I mean, now they would charge you thousands of dollars to have the training that I had back then, just off that CD. And so I bought the CD on sale, $9.99. I'll always remember that price, because I was mind-boggled by the fact that I was getting this phenomenal training off this one thing. And it took you from A to Z, every single thing you needed to know about building a business, where to look in the library. Because remember, computers didn't have the big search engines you got now, but where to look in a library to find out, does a business have your name? And so you had to go through all of this, going to a real library and doing your searches for everything. And so it took you step by step through the whole thing. And then it would go off and have these live videoed interviews of people of successful business people talking to you, telling you this is what you need to do. This is a good way to do marketing. And it took you all, built you all the way up through the marketing phase, helped you build a marketing plan a bit. Well, you started off learning how to build a business plan, and that took you through it step by step. And then it took you into the marketing plan and took you through that step by step. And of course, marketing was a lot different back then than it is now. And so this was going to be all offline. It wasn't going to be an online job because that just didn't really exist. And so anyways, that's what I did. Well, I got a phone call one day, and this is the whole point of the video. I got a phone call one day from a guy after I'd already got it out, and he'd seen my flyers all over town. And so he goes, so what's your price? Would your price be for this? So I told him what my price would be. I don't remember that part. But he goes, ouch. He goes, that's out of what I can afford. And I said, tell you what, give me your phone number and give me about 5-10 minutes and I'm going to call you back. So that's what we did. He gave me his phone number. He didn't know what I was up to. So I got on the pulled out the Yellow Pages. Yes, you couldn't do a search on the internet at that time to find out, are there any businesses nearby? And so I found through the Yellow Pages some other secretarial services. And I started calling around to them to see, what was up. Some of the girls I called, they were packed and they couldn't take on any more clients. And so I found this one service and I told them what was going on and they loved it. They wanted to talk to the guy. They were all excited about it. And it was like, great. So I called him back and I said, look, I found this service for you. It's right in your budget. They sound really fantastic. They're excited about working with you. So here's their phone number. And he thanked me for it. And he called back a short bit later. Sorry, I'm going to tear up. Ouch. Okay. So anyway, he had really been through it, trying to start his own business. And he said, you're the first person who has shown me any kindness whatsoever in starting my business. And it's like, yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Because, oh boy, I'll tell you, at that time, and probably any other time, it's just hard. Because you find people who don't want to help you get started, which is how I ended up with the computer program. But anyways, he was bawling like a baby on the phone. He really was. He just was so touched. And he says, you know what, I'm going to work with you because you're the kind of person I want to work with. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to let you do it. I appreciate it to no end, and believe me, I did. But it was like, I'm still not going to do it because I'm not going to let you hurt yourself financially, for one. I want you to be able to stick within your budget, to be able to succeed at what you're doing right now. And I could actually end up being a hindrance in the end because of the fees that I charged. But I was worth the fees that I was charging. And so anyways, I never did hear from him again. But just that moment where two entrepreneurs meeting, trying to get started out on their businesses was amazing. And I ran into a lot of people back then who were just starting out. And it was wonderful. It really was. It was exciting. There was such an atmosphere that's created when somebody else is doing something like you are. Even though their businesses may be completely different, it's the fact that the two of you are going against the norm. You've broken with the status quo and you're going to fly on your own. And it was great. And my business went on for a while until I made a really big mistake, and the client that I had wouldn't let me out of our verbal contract. And I'm very big on verbal contracts, but he wouldn't let me out on the verbal contract. And that Scroot's tail, thanks. And I shut my business down. It was the only way to get out because he was going to take me to court otherwise. But he was really abusing the verbal contract that we had, and that did it. And when I tried to stand my ground, lost. So, but anyways, that was, you know, just something I wanted to share with you guys, that, you know, if you've got skills and you're really sick to death working for somebody else, just go out on your own. Give it a shot. I mean, all you can do is fail, and you'll learn from that, and you'll know what to do the next time. Because I've always built off of that mistake that I made with that one client. And building off of that stopped me from making that dumb mistake again. I made a lot of other mistakes down the road, and each one you learn from. But if you don't go out and you don't try it, you're not going to learn as much, for one, and two, you'll be stuck working for somebody else. So just a bit of encouragement to just give it a shot. Who cares if you muck up? You're going to learn something. You'll know what not to never do again, and you keep on trying. And eventually you get it right. So anyways, that's my morning spew for the morning. So catch you later, and that cat, you're going outside. Bye.